Yo, what's up guys? My name is GLOCO and welcome back to more The Letter. We're now in part 23, guys. So, for those who can't remember what happened last time, we just got back from the housewarming party. We got into a little bit of an argument with Ashton, and now we're home. So here we go. The moon is almost at its highest by the time we reach Salem Well. Even after our respective heads have cooled off, the atmosphere within the car remains rife with unspoken tension. This isn't a problem so easily fixed with a few handshakes. Quite frankly, I don't know what will. Ashton himself has no idea what to do when he alights and dawdles awkwardly in the middle of the car park, unsure. It almost seems like he's having an internal debate, whether he should say goodbye or mutter another apology. I could have driven him away purely out of spite the second I've gotten off. Still, old habits die hard. It's late and Ashton's flat is on the other side of the city. Irritation might still rear its head every time I look at him right now, but I am not too cruel to put him up on another long drive. Especially when he still appears as if he hasn't gotten any rest.
You can borrow the couch.
I throw the keys to my flat his way before a protest forms on his lips. Although he catches it with ease, he eyes it with a wary expression and shoots a puzzled glance my way.
You haven't been forgiven. We're still going to have that talk, believe me. But I'm not about to send you out on another drive looking like that. It's late. Go get some rest.
We're setting aside a lot of loose ends like this, but he appears to have accepted that reason, at least in the meantime. He does give me another questioning glance when I shove past him, pulling my mobile in the process.
Where are you going? I thought...
You go ahead upstairs. I need to contact Professor Andrew.
Andrew? Why would you... Oh, no. Please. Is this that thing Isabella said this morning? Again? I already gave her my word, Becca. I'll look into this BRC crap. No need to drag the old guy into it.
Well, you're taking your precious time doing that, Ash. I think Becca has the right to do some, her own kind of intervention in this. And I think Professor whatever that is, it was supposed to be the specialist that we were supposed to ask Isabella to visit or have an appointment with, but instead we went for the religious route and went with the priest, which is now in the brink of insanity after, if you guys remember Zachary's route. But anyway, here we go. Of course, he's still skeptical. It makes one wonder if he's even seeing anything at all. Actually, yeah. Figures this curse will stay away from the scoffer. It does make me wonder. At this point, everyone in among Isabella's circle has probably encountered the ghost bitch in a way, even before the housewarming party. But Ashton, he's still skeptical about everything. It's right to question if he's seeing anything at all. So can't wait to see what he sees in his perspective of the game. But this is another loose end tonight that I can't just leave alone. Ashton's beliefs notwithstanding. It just so happens that it's one I can delve into using means other than taking a look at the mansion itself.
Ashton, do you really think I still give a shite after that stunt you pulled tonight?
Shite.
No, but this is...
I've spent so many years with him to know this is about to turn into another argument. Before he can finish it, I cut him off with a firm raise of my hand.
Look, I don't care. There are weird things happening around here. And yes, it's Isabella's brand of weird. Ghostly voices, strange sounds, and a bloody woman sitting at the back of my car.
Wow.
You don't have to believe me. And I no longer have the patience to convince you, so just leave me be, Ashton.
He doesn't push it, growing quiet instead, although I know he has a whole case of it prepared inside his head. But there's a reluctant shift in his movement when he steps away from our conversation. Short of climbing the stairs, he stops, turns to face me with an expression almost too... conflicted?
Are you really sure?
What?
That there was something? That you've been, seeing things?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very, very certain. Now go. And you better not break anything in there. The last time I let you stay over, it was that statuette Belle gave me. You haven't even replaced that one.
The last of my reprimand goes both unheard and unanswered as he disappears behind the stairs. If things aren't as strained, he might have a quip or two about that, followed by a light banter. Instead, for a long moment, I am left staring after him. There's something in the way he asks it that nags. Coupled with his expression, the whole exchange just feels unsettling. Hey, wait a moment. Kind of reminds me, I think there was a time where Zach and Becca and even Isabella said something about Ash, about how he can keep his composure in a way, how he can keep things quite well, to the point that you won't really, if there's something wrong, you won't really see it on his face. He can keep it like to his grave or something. So maybe, just maybe Ash has seen the ghost bitch, but he's just still skeptical about the whole thing. Maybe he's still not sure what he's seeing or something. I don't know. Or maybe he's just in denial. I'm not really sure. We'll see. One that doesn't fade even as I gather my thoughts and shift my focus on another, even as I dial Professor Andrew's number. And that is when it clicks. During the long wait for the professor, one stray thought emerges from the unease. Ashton has not intended for his question to be a jibe. It's a concern. For what, though? For my well-being? The letter's curse? The woman I mentioned? The answer for those will have to wait, however. Finally, the call connects and Professor Andrew's voice echoes from the receiver.
Professor Andrew?
Rebecca? It's late. What can I do for you?
I know, I'm sorry, but this is a bit urgent.
After all, this is a more pressing matter. Our lives might be at stake, and we're still in the dark.
Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you to do me a favor.
Is that it? What was the favor? Professor Andrew Clark has agreed to meet with me 2 days later in front of Luxbourne's public library. He has other commitments, but being a longtime family friend has its perks. I have my parents' connections to thank for that. Of course, I'm not that sort to impose on him often, but the situation is, well, it's not entirely bad, although it does require calling in a few favors from friends like him. Without his signature, I won't be able to gain access to the library's restricted section. If I want to get more in-depth information on the Ermahgerd Mansion, that is, not simply what they choose to show to the general public. As much as I hate to admit it, there's always something people censor, and whatever it is, I won't ever find it in the general section. It has to be what they're keeping here, beyond the public eye. The thought of that alone makes me angsty. Thankfully, I don't have to brood over it. The wait for the professor doesn't last long. He never did enjoy making people wait. Likewise, he dislikes people who are tardy. He arrives 5 minutes after I do, greeting me with that kind smile and casual wave of his hand. I haven't seen him in so long, but it appears he hasn't changed much. His familiar presence alone is enough for a fond smile to spread across my face.
Professor Andrew.
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
You know I can't possibly do that. Even if I can, it feels disrespectful to call you by your name alone.
Both you and Ashton never listen to this old man. Kids these days.
You know, I wonder, what if we chose Professor Andrew as our primary go-to guy for Isabella? Will he go insane as well? Will he be able to see the ghost bitch and do something about it? I don't know. Oh well.
All right, but just for today, since you're doing me a huge favor, Andrew.
I guess you simply can't have it all, even at this old age. But pleasantries aren't what we're here for, yes? You mentioned you needed a permit.
Yes.
Yes, sir, if that's okay with you.
More than fine. Anything in pursuit of knowledge, as they say.
He hands me the permit without further prompting. And just like he promised, he's also written a recommendation after his signature. This is more than enough to get me to those files. I mutter a small thanks before slipping it into my pocket. Although when I look back up, his brows are furrowed, the very face of curiosity. Not surprising considering how vague I've been during our little talk over the phone. Right there and there, I've decided to tell him if he ever asks. Maybe not all of it, but stuff he needs to know. It's the least I can do to thank him. As expected, true to his inquisitive nature, he asks.
If you don't mind, though, I know you've always been an eager learner, but may I know what in the restricted section that piqued your curiosity?
It's the Ermahgerd Mansion, sir.
He's quick to raise an eyebrow at that, and for a while, I fear he'll take the slip of paper back. Is there something in what I said?
The ones they have out in the general isn't enough?
I'm, hoping for a more in-depth read, sir. More about the history and the people who once lived there. The general section doesn't have anything much on that.
Oh, I see. Well, you certainly aren't the first one to be enamored with that place. It doesn't shock me. The architecture is admirable, and the urban legends are something to talk about.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it. But I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even with the renovations. They kept the stained glass windows, too. They are magnificent.
Oh, you've seen it.
I was there for a few hours to attend a housewarming party. The invitation was for my parents, but they couldn't make it. My mum used to work as a private tutor for the Evans. Hannah Wright?
Ah, I know of her. Her husband, too. Who doesn't?
Why do you look like you're so irritated about the mention of her husband?
Luxbourne's most popular couple.
Something falls behind his eyes. The warmth in them suddenly gone, like he's reliving a painful, distant memory and seeing it play right in front of him. See, he's irritated. There's something about the Evans that he doesn't like. It disappears almost as soon as it surfaces. But that look has unsettled something in me.
Is something the matter?
Something the matter?
Nothing much. But you know, you're already like a daughter to me. So if you could, do be careful with the friends you make.
The same thing that Ashton said.
Is this about the rights, sir?
Just a friendly advice from an old man. Don't think much about it.
Okay, sorry. Sorry. Didn't mean to say Evans, but rights.
Anyway, I have to leave now. Can't miss my weekly serving of bear claws. Say hi to your parents at the detective inspector for me, will you? I wish you luck with all that research.
I will. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Andrew gives my shoulder a light squeeze, the gesture a younger me has always appreciated, and quickly crosses the street after. I watch him until he disappears behind the door to a cafe, until the doubt swimming inside my head finds a moment to rest. Whatever his business is with the rights isn't anything I should concern myself about, but somehow, in the grand scheme of things now, all of it feels oddly relevant. The how, though, I've yet to find out. And I'm hoping the library will give me the answers I want this time. On a gloomy Sunday morning, the library is especially empty. The second floor in particular. I've always considered this place to be a sanctuary, a respite away from the hubbub of the city. As a child, I grew up reading books here, spending hours here to no end, poring over the pages, living out fantasies in my head until my parents called me home. Now, it feels nothing like it. The silence is smothering, suffocating. Even with how clean they've kept the microfiche room, how the entire smell of it lacks a speck of dust or clatter, breathing is a struggle for air. Not far into my stay, I begin to long for the noise outside, and perhaps as a way to calm this unease, I start to hum a tune. Imagine that. Why, of all things, it has to be that silly nursery rhyme. I've not an inkling. It does its job, however. It fills the lull with something far less awkward, far less deafening, and that is enough for a distraction. I have business here. No time for silly daydreams, only important work to attend to. Even if there's a possibility of it being fruitless by some means, it feels like I have to do it. If not for me, then for the people who have been affected by this... What do we even call this? A haunting? A Halloween prank gone wrong? A curse? If Isabella were here, what would she say? Will she panic? Will she be angry I only listened to her now? It all stems from that one moment in the movie house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this had we only taken her warnings to heart. One stupid mistake is all it took to send our normal lives on a downward spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it or at the universe for throwing us into this mess. But we can only make do of what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a start.
A good start.
It doesn't take much time for me to find what I need. A microfiche, I don't know how to pronounce that, of old newspapers, long kept in special storage cabinets at the far end of the restricted section. The year is 1620s and beyond, before the city of Luxbourne even exists in the records, when the mansion has just been built, and Anslem is nothing more but a small, sleepy hamlet near a river. A lot of pieces are missing. Days, sometimes several consecutive weeks without any records remaining. Often it goes on for years. Troublesome as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all, considering how far I'm looking back. Can't be picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
The faint whir of the microfiche machine keeps me company as I go over each slide, each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what the local lore knows. There are snippets, little mentions of the family that once settled in the house here and there, the usual singing of praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement into a buzzing town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. It continues on like this for a good while, until I come by the years after their deaths. The people of Anslem might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermahgerd, mourned their passing, and held them in high esteem in the years after. But it was their daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. Oh, they had a daughter. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Remarkable, considering it was a period of recovery from a bout of plague that killed half the town's population, including her parents. What's surprising, though... Oh, is that a witch? Oh, remember that black-haired woman? Yeah, this is it. Apparently, her time also marked more than superficial changes to the place. She moved things, changed laws, altered old customs and traditions. So this is a microchip, what do you call this machine thingy? If they were done on a woman's swimsuit, it doesn't say. But she seems capable enough for more than that. The gist of it is, the town she rebuilt, it's what eventually grew to become Luxbourne City, while the nearby Anslem village remained as it was, a relic of the old. A frown swiftly forms in my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
One by one, I try to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mentioned this. It's always the lord and the lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those anecdotes, the one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored the town from the brink of collapse, or brought new ideas to it. Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbows, not all aspects of her can be considered admirable. But this is history. Some parts are bound to naturally delve into unpleasant territory whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, became common near the end of her life, which would have been completely unremarkable and might have gone to become a mere footnote in history, if it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slave she saved. Oh, she put an end to slavery, but then burned the same slave she saved. Huh. Poor ghost bitch. Alright. It cost quite a stir, enough to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by an entire town. Can't believe they had records of this, even a drawing of it. It's nice. Good bookkeeping. At the word of Lady Charlotte alone. But this doesn't really have anything to do with the curse, does it? Unless that woman following us and this slave are the same person. I think it's pretty obvious already. But hey, a tale of revenge? How cliche. However, with the lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint, the illustration would start resembling her. But in my field, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be the laughing stock of the community.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted, I take a careful step away from the screen, pressing a palm to my tired eyes. Actually, guys, if you followed, what do you call this? A route where you get the characters killed, you'll get, what do you call this snippets or clips from the past of what truly happened. So I don't know if I can show it to you guys, but there was a clip where the slave was being, by the husband of Lady Charlotte, and she was watching the whole time. So I guess she was allowing it in a way, but I think that turned into a messy situation after, because there were snippets of, I don't know, I just can't really, I can't remember, but you get the point, guys. So it could have been out of jealousy, or maybe a scandal broke out. That's why they covered up by telling the townspeople that the slave was a witch and shit like that, got her killed and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. The lack of ample light in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form at the back of my head, yet I am nowhere near figuring the things out. This is simply too much to take in all at once.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Now I'm at a dead end. I start gathering everything around me and placing them back in their respective envelopes for storage. The motion's no longer new after volunteering here a number of times. I didn't make much mess anyway, considering the lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to look somewhere else. The where remains unknown though. But just as I'm about to slip the last of the slides in, something catches my attention. My hand pauses, the microfiche halfway through its protective sleeve. This is one of the few I've set aside without taking a careful look at. It seems like a gossip column at first glance, but upon closer look, I slide it back to the reader, gently turning the dials in search of the page. It takes some time, but once the image becomes clear, they must have had this drawing commissioned for this announcement. Ermahgerd announces betrothal, so they get married, right? I don't doubt it. The details are far more intricate, their likeness likely closer to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizable this way, closer to those paintings I've seen in the mansion. However, it's the man standing beside her, Edward Godfrey, according to the article that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin, and eventually her fiancé. Maybe it's the posture, the manner in which he holds himself. Or maybe it's the shape of his eyes that I can't be too certain about until I've gotten a better reference. What, he looks like Luke? Is that it? Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. Oh yeah, remember when I mentioned the husband doing it with a slave? And I think I already mentioned that the slave, or the ghost bitch, kind of looks like Marianne. Okay, so Luke looking like Godfrey, Hannah looking like Lady Charlotte, Marianne looking like the ghost bitch slash slave slash witch, and that scene where Luke did it with Marianne, the alternate route. Making sense? Deja vu? Alright, nevertheless, he looks eerie, like my head snaps up, glowering at whoever's running in the floor above. Any day I'd march upstairs and reprimand whoever it is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
Oh god. I have a bad feeling about this. But now isn't the time. I've gotten what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hit the machine's print button for a copy of the page, while my other hand moves to put everything back into storage. A ragged exhale slips from me. A relief perhaps, or maybe this is already exhaustion. Regardless, soon I'm closing my eyes as I wait for the printer to finish, if only to stave off a headache building up from everything. Sometime I've even began humming the same song again for comfort. Despite my doubts about this, despite all the tension in my shoulders. This may be a small find, but at least I can start somewhere. We can start somewhere. There is a way out of this. I know it. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sound isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. Oh god, I have a bad feeling about this. Alright. Oh shit. Here we go again, boys. A feeling. A chilly brush of air behind my back. Brief enough for something sickening to suddenly launch itself in my throat while I take in my surroundings. It's that suffocating sensation again, creeping to every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength. From that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at the school, without delay, I grab the papers and make a quick beeline for the door. Oh shit, here we go. My whole body freezes.
What are you doing, Miss Pink?
Is that you, Kylie? No, please. I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. For a little while, only the sound of papers crumpling under my grasp fills the room. The excitement from earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread spreading throughout my limbs. But more than the fear is the anger. It pains me to hear her using my own student's voice against me, and more than once I believe it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
Although she hasn't made a move, if there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step back. Anything to put a distance between us, no matter how small, as long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself, because if I do fall back, turn away from her, I'll be left with no way out. I am not dying here.
You think you scare me?
Wow, Rebecca. Wow. Wow, her bravery or courage knows no ends. I don't know.
Miss Pink, don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm not afraid of you, you spook.
Wow, Rebecca.
This is one Scotswoman you aren't getting into an early grave without a fight.
Wow.
Come at me.
I expected she'll lunge, prove to me what a monster she is. Instead, all she gives me a smile, twisted and gnarled. It's as if time has crawled to a stop at the sight of it. A split-second decision, and before I know it, my body shifts. Eyes closing in anticipation, hand grabbing whatever's solid enough on the nearby table and hurling it at her. I don't bother looking if whatever I threw hits its mark. I can't believe she actually fought back. What the fuck? As fast as my legs can carry me, despite my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. But in this maze of bookshelves, with the whole place almost void of people, is there even a place safe enough I can escape to? Oh my god, I don't know. I think we just head for the door. If there's one, it's out of this room, out of this place, as far away as anyone can get from her. I can think about the rest of what I can do after I'm outside, when there are other people I can ask for help. When she's not chasing me after me like this. There's no cessation in my steps as I race for the restricted section's door, head downstairs and barrel straight for the library's exit, towards safety in a desperate bid for my life. The library rules be damned. I can no longer hear her behind me, but I'm not taking any chances. A breath almost escapes me as I near the door. A little more, when out of nowhere, a library cart careens from a blind corner and slams to my sides. Aw, damn it. My back hits the floor with a hard thud, with the impact completely knocking the breath out of me. The copper tang of blood gradually spreads over my tongue as I fight to get my bearings back. I force myself to move, even with the excruciating pain coursing through my limbs. The exit's almost there, if only I can... But there's no moment's respite. Oh, come on! The next thing I know, there's a heavy weight atop me and cold digits slide around my neck, tight like a vice, closing in, leaving me gasping for air. Though my blurred vision, I can only make out the hateful gleam, the spite in her eyes as she looms over my body and her grip on my throat grows tighter. Desperation kicks in. My nails dig into her wrists as I struggle against her firm grip, trying to pry her fingers away.
Let go. Let me go.
Okay, keep the slider within the green bar by moving the mouse in the arrow's direction. There you go. 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 Yeah! There you go. Take that, you little bitch! I don't think twice. My limbs are moving on their own before what I did could fully register in my brain and my lungs could recover. Behind me, she lets out a cry, sharp, loud, and thunderous against the empty walls of the library. But the fear her wails bring compares nothing to the relief washing over me when I finally make it out. Holy shit! We did it! Damn! What could have happened if we actually went upstairs? I don't know, and I don't even want to know. My knees buckle as soon as my feet hits the pavement. Its surface cold and hard against my skin. I've only been there for a few hours, about 1 or 2 probably, and I don't know anymore. It feels like an eternity all the same. My breathing hasn't slowed down yet, and I don't expect it to after going through that. I probably look most undignified. I probably look like the most undignified creature on a Sunday morning right now. Out of breath and disheveled, slumped here with a bloody lip and all. But at present, I simply can't bring myself to care, even when a few passers-by start giving me a strange look. Stare at me all you want. I don't give a single shite. I'm alive. I'm safe. This isn't the end yet, but I'm safe. And inside my bag is something that could get us out of this mess. Nothing definite yet. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it's still something. If Isabella is here, I'm sure she'll feel the same. She'll even be the first one who'll put her faith on it. Wherever this will lead us to is a victory on its own. Now all that's left is to find the others. The rest of us trapped in this bloody nightmare. Right on cue, as if an answer to my previous thought, my mobile phone lets out a beep. I pick it up, simply hoping it will be one of them. Only it's a voicemail that greets me. From Ashton. There's a pang of disappointment, of course, but it brings some reassurance that nothing's happened to at least one of them.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
Alright, cool. He ends it right there. The message less than a minute long. Curt and gives nothing away. I let it ease my worries, regardless, and do as he asks. Because this too is another triumph for us. One less thing to worry about. Whew. Wow, cool. Now what? Oh! We finished it! We finished Rebecca's route! And she's still alive! Haha! Okay, alright. That's good, that's good. That's reassuring. At least she's still alive. Now, we're finally in Ashton's route. When I say finally, I mean finally! What? It's been almost half a year since we've been playing this game? We just got to Ashton's route, and then there's still Luke's route. Now, a lot of people said that the more characters you progress with, the longer their route is. So Ashton will be longer than Rebecca's route, and I can't even imagine how Luke's route will be. I don't know. It's just one way for them to like piece together everything. But hey, I'm just so relieved that Becca's still alive. I kind of like her now, you know. She's a strong-willed woman. I think she's the only one who actually fought back against the ghost bitch with a freaking book to its face. God. So anyway, I'm gonna end this episode right here, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I also apologize for my bad reading at this episode. I have a what do you call this? I have a chancre sore in my lip, so I can't really read properly right now. And also I've been scratching my nose a lot during the episode because my allergies are kicking in, so it's kind of hard reading right now. But anyway, thank you so much again for supporting this series. I promise to make more, and we'll finish this, okay? And I can't wait what Ash will see in his POV. Will he see the ghost bitch? Will he encounter it in a way that we've encountered it with the other characters? We'll see. So anyway, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye bye. I don't have arms, I know.